Well, if any of those winter activities are on your bucket list, get them done. Only 13 days until it's officially spring. Krissy Vann joining you. Fairly quiet across the country. We have an upper level trough causing a little bit of flurries through the prairies. A weak low moving through Ontario that will bring passing flurries into Sunday, and then we'll talk sea effect snow in Atlantic Canada. Of course, on skis, I tend to always end up wrapped up in that orange fencing at the end. This is a better bet for me. Of course, this is a type of orange that I like to see. As we head into next week, we're going to start to see the milder air move across the country, and that's because of a zonal flow with the jet stream. So warm temps on the way, and that'll be a well-needed break on the lifeguard towers at the beach. This is what we're looking at through Sunday, though. You can see generally less than 2 centimeters. And keep in mind, this is through Sunday, so no significant snowfalls. We may pick up a little bit of enhancement, though, in through the Niagara region, just due to some lake enhancement with those southwesterly winds. But overall, this system going to be sweeping across, and again, very weak in nature. A much calmer adventure for the little guy. If you are traveling in Newfoundland, particularly along the western shores, we do have the shift in wind direction through the afternoon and evening, and that could generate some sea effect snow, generally 5 to 10 centimeters for the hardest hit areas. Overall, for Atlantic Canada, you have a fairly calm weekend, well deserved, as let's face it, the last few have been anything but. And for you in Halifax, a warm up by Wednesday at 7 degrees with sunshine. We're in the heart of the weekend. I'm Krissy Vann, and a couple things we're following, of course, signs of spring. I hope you're as excited as I am that we're finally getting to that time of year. We'll talk about this whale of a tale and then time travel tonight. You might not love that to-do list, so that's why at theweathernetwork.com we have an excellent article from our writers. Cheryl Santa Maria wrote this one, basically breaking down things that you should be doing as you spring forward. For example, changing the batteries in your smoke detectors. Now, looking across the country, you can see overall fairly quiet today. We do have the potential of some flurries through the prairies, flurries in Ontario, and then some sea effect snow, particularly along the shores of western Newfoundland. Well, coming up, starting on the 14th, it celebrates the migration of about 20,000 whales. This is something that I like to celebrate. Warmer air starting to surge across the country, and that's because we have a zonal flow with our jet stream that's helping to distribute that milder air from west to east. So instead of having that ridging that kept everything to the west before. Looking across the country on Sunday, we continue to have a fairly quiet end to our weekend. Still, that threat of flurries does linger in Ontario. By Monday, downright warm to the west. Alberta, I know you have temperatures in the double digits through much of your week. Regina, you'll also tap into some double-digit temperatures as well. Of course, we'd love to see your photos and videos. And that was your spring outlook. I would love to hear what you thought of it. You can tweet us at Weather Network. Krissy Vann joining you, and looking across the country, relatively quiet. We just have the potential of some flurries moving through Ontario with a weak low. And then in western Newfoundland, we're watching out for the setup of some sea effect snow. Through Sunday, a similar setup, but quite warmer through Alberta and Saskatchewan. Temperatures starting to get into the double digits this week. That's a sure sign of spring, and so is this, a sneak peek at our next season of Storm Hunters. Welcome to the weekend. I'm Krissy Vann, and if you can believe it, just 13 days to go till we make it to spring. But as you can see from the map here, the west has been feeling very spring-like. Different story to the east, where we've still been plagued by that winter cold. That will be changing, though, the jet stream getting into a more zonal flow, which means by the middle of next week, that milder air spreading right across the country. Of course, where it hasn't been feeling so warm is in Atlantic Canada, and that's where we travel today for your weather selfie. Thanks for that, Beverly. And of course, since you sent in your weather selfie, you get your personalized forecast. So in Birchie Bay, Newfoundland, Sunday, -5 sun and cloud, but feeling like -12 with the wind chill. And if you want to see your weather here on the Weather Network, you can fallen out of love with winter. There's some good news in sight in your 7-day forecast being felt through much of the country. Halifax, Wednesday, I'll point out for you, 7 degrees and seeing the sunshine. Montreal, Tuesday and Wednesday sitting at 5. It gets better and better as we go along. Toronto, Tuesday, a high of 7 degrees with that mix of sun and cloud. Winnipeg, you're going to love this. You've had a lot of bouts of extreme cold this winter, but by Saturday, you can bump into the double digits with a high of 11. Regina as well. You hold on to those double digits Thursday right through Saturday, and the sunshine to boot. It doesn't get much better than that, unless, of course, you're in in Calgary, where you're looking at 14 and 15 degrees right across the board. Vancouver, you get to keep your double digits, which, let's face it, you've had through much of the winter season. I do want to point out, though, a bit of a pattern change as you head through midweek. You will start to get into some wet weather, but we're only talking about 20 millimeters of rain for Vancouver. So with these warmer temperatures, it may have you thinking springtime. Bear in mind, we do spring forward this weekend on the clocks. And coming up, we'll join Chris St. Clair. He'll have the science behind daylight savings. And that was your spring outlook. I would love to hear what you thought of it. You can tweet us at Weather Network. Krissy Vann joining you, and looking across the country, relatively quiet. We just have the potential of some flurries moving through Ontario with a weak low. And then in western Newfoundland, we're watching out for the setup of some sea effect snow. Through Sunday, a similar setup, but quite warmer through Alberta and Saskatchewan. Temperatures starting to get into the double digits this week. That's a sure sign of spring, and so is this, a sneak peek at our next season of Storm Hunters. Krissy Vann joining you. We have lots of warm air and some sunshine right throughout the west, through the prairies. It does get colder, though, as we head further east in Ontario. The potential of some flurries lingering into Sunday, and then Atlantic Canada still cool, -2 in St. John's. If you are traveling to Texas, be sure to have the umbrellas handy. We are looking at some rainy conditions, but temperatures in the double digits for the most part. 12 degrees in San Antonio, 13 in Houston, and 9 in Dallas.